Hello, everybody, and welcome to the April edition of the EPALE Newscast. I'm Tamsin Rose, your host, and I hope that wherever you are, the sun is shining and the weather is kind. Let's start our webcast with a roundup of some news from the European Union. The European Commission has started the interim evaluation of the Erasmus Plus programme, and this is a crucial step for the future negotiations on the evolution of the programme. The first big milestone in this evaluation was a stakeholder consultation workshop, which brought together national agencies, representatives, civil society stakeholders on the 20th of March. The main topics on their agenda were the key priorities for the programme, the structure, the management, and of course, the financial resources of the programme. There were also discussions on how to make the adult education sector more visible and have more impact in the programme. A similar process is linked to the European Pillar of Social Rights, and that's also ongoing. The Belgian EU presidency is organising a high level conference on the 15th to the 16th of April. And they're ambitious because they're aiming for a new political declaration that would be signed by all of the EU institutions, the national governments, social partners, and civil society. And this declaration would reiterate everyone's commitment to fully implementing the European Pillar of Social Rights. And during that same week, on the 17th and 18th of April, the Belgian presidency is also organising a lifelong learning conference in Brussels. On the agenda are what motivates learners to engage in a lifelong learning process, governance aspects of lifelong learning, and how multi stakeholder partnerships make it a reality, and how lifelong learning can be shaped through evidence informed policy decisions. The European Parliament is getting everyone ready for the upcoming elections. They've prepared an educational toolkit for teachers and educators to help get the message about the elections. And that toolkit is available in all 24 official languages. So make sure you download it and use it. Now, you're on the EPALE platform, so you know that skills are crucial for both individuals and the community from a lifelong and across the life's perspective. But how do we predict how skills will change? How do we assess which skills are readily available and which ones are lacking? What policy measures offer support to fill these gaps? All this and more will be discussed in the first European Agenda for Adult Learning, that's EAAL. It's their forum that's entitled Skills for All. This event is the continuation of the reflection process that started last year when the European Year of Skills was launched. And this event will take place on the 16th of April in the House of the EU in Ljubljana in Slovenia, and it's also going to take place online, so you'll have a chance to participate in it. Now, some news from the EPALE community. On the 7th of April, in the context of the Brussels Book Fair, EPALE Belgium held a discussion about the link between adult education and public libraries. In Germany, the EPALE team is organising a thematic week from the 22nd to the 26th of April. It's entitled Experience Democracy, Share Participation. And you can find out more about some really interesting Erasmus Plus projects that tackle these topics. So go onto the German EPALE website to find out more. Their colleagues in the Netherlands in a few weeks will be hosting a study visit for other EPALE national support services. And they're going to focus on the non-formal and informal learning sectors because they want to deepen their own knowledge and to share good experiences. And by the way, the EPALE website has a new design. You may have noticed it. Have you already had a chance to look around it? We encourage you to explore the new homepage and to delve into the new look and feel of the platform. Send us your feedback. Let us know what you appreciate, what you like about it. And now, drum roll, please. Brrr. The Community Stories Initiative is back. It's an incredibly popular part of our website and for very good reason. And today, right now, we're launching the 2024 EPALE Community Stories. As I've said, we know that adult learning and education is really powerful. It enables individuals and social groups to get more control over their environment and realize their potential. It builds confidence and opens doors to new opportunities. So we want to know, what's your story of transformation and empowerment? How did adult learning and education change your life? How has it helped you to rewrite your destiny? Or did it change your students' lives? To get you started and inspire you about the power of community stories, we have a little video that we're very excited to share with you. Let's watch it.
Bloom, baby, bloom. It wasn't always easy. Finding your way in this world is not a piece of cake. Everybody has an idea of who you should be. Well, everyone but you. Sometimes the future seems already written. Who you should be, what you should do, how you should do it. Is it too late for change? What if I want something different for my life? What if I wanted to turn an already sealed fate around? It is never too late. It wasn't too late for me. And it shouldn't be for you either. Adult education has rewritten my life and the lives of my students, my incredibly inspiring students. Adults who chose their own destiny and transformed their lives. And you? What's your story? Share your EPALE community story now.
We really look forward to getting your stories and we can't wait to be able to publish them on the EPALE platform. Now, the deadline for submitting your story for this year is the end of July, but don't hang around. You can send it in as soon as possible. And now, let's catch up with a very active member of the EPALE community. She's a professor at the Sorbonne Nouvelle University in Paris and a member of the EU High-Level Expert Group on Online Disinformation. She's a member of the EU Expert Group on Media Literacy and chair of Savoir Devenir in Sustainable and Digital Development for UNESCO. And she's the coordinator of more than 12 projects funded by the Creative Europe programme or by Erasmus+. And last, but absolutely not least, she featured in the previous EPALE Community Story initiatives, so do go and have a look at them. Welcome to Divina Frau-Meigs. Divina, hello, lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you, Tamsin.
You are a very well-known academic and thought leader, and when you speak, policymakers and VIPs listen. But you didn't start your life from a position of privilege. So tell us a little bit of your story, about your background, and what messages you received about learning.
Well, I can't resist showing you how I echo your incredibly inspiring launch video, because I also did a lacquer mural for the first time at age 64. And I wanted to show my children, especially my son, that you can evolve from a hungry caterpillar to a snug cocoon to a beautiful butterfly that doesn't look at all like the caterpillar. So shaping and reshaping yourself is something that is possible all lifelong, and you can do it with visual stories or narrative stories. The life cycle of the butterfly is for us very inspiring, and we can all spin our own cocoons in similar ways. So my inspiration comes partly from my immigration background, but also by development views, especially those of Amartya Sen, who showed that sustainable transformation needs to go beyond the first order of basic needs, what we think first, like feeding ourselves, safety, survival, but we also need the second order growth needs, those of self-respect, those of actualization, to build a kind of life aesthetics. And that's what I've tried to do with this idea of forwardance, this idea of savoir devenir, which is about knowing how to project oneself in the world, in the future, with knowledge, with the help of information. And for me, it takes at least 3 strands. One of them is self-actualization, meaning constantly adding knowledge, because it takes no space, as my father used to say. but also making sure that you have several life flows, that you're not just defined by the career choice you made very early, that you're not dependent on just your background, and that you can add new strands and make them flow, make them modify themselves as the context comes to you, taking advantage of what comes to you. And this can be done also by a mindset that is about a playful mindset, modeling by play, restarting, reshaping, with taking risks. You can lose a game, but not being in danger. And I think education is this safe space and where we can test a lot of things without danger. And eventually this may lead to an aesthetics of life that takes agency to the foremost, where you feel so much self-respect, but you respect the others, including in politics. And how to move forward and how to spin the cocoon, for me, is to make visible and shareable for all the role of information in order to build knowledge. And that's why I've been very active in developing media and information literacy, that is now taking center stage in lots of policies, public policies, because it gives insights, provides competences for understanding our information cultures, how media, documents online, data and algorithms all help us construct the world and therefore construct ourselves.
Thank you. You've mentioned media literacy and the link to information, and that's absolutely crucial this year because 2024 is the biggest ever year for democracy. Around the world, 49% of the global population will have a chance to choose their government. And elections will be held in at least 64 countries, including for the European Parliament in June. And the results of those votes, those decisions, will shape our politics and our economy for years to come. We'll have to live with those results. So these elections are a test of our ability to ensure the integrity of elections from digital manipulation and influence. And that's your key area of expertise and specialization. Can you tell us what to look out for during this key period and what can be done to inoculate our democratic processes?
Well, it's true that we are in a year of forwardance. I mean, with decisions that we're going to make this year, engage us collectively for many years to come. And this is where, for me, media and information literacy is a tool to build resilience, but also to build agency, and not just bear, cope, but be agents. Media and information literacy centers about the culture of information and about the integrity of information, because it is key to make good decisions, informed decisions. So it now calls attention also to the risks of information disorders, what we call disinformation, because they really can make our foundational work of knowledge and decision-making crumble. So media and information literacy calls attention to the formats of disinformation, the fact that we have cognitive biases, that it's based on prejudices, that propaganda has a certain rhetoric. So we can train people to note these formats, and they love learning about that. But it also calls attention to patterns in disinformation. And there was a forwardance key here, because in fact, you have to look backwards. When you want to disinform, or when you want to create a disinformation campaign, you start 2 years before the elections. You implant your pods and your dormant cells in the social media. They spike from time to time little fake news to see how it casts doubts on people, let's say, for instance, the age of a candidate. And then you hack their data at a strategic moment that can create surprise or panic. And then you whitewash these small fake news. You camouflage them into mainstream media or mainstream media, because they both exist, unfortunately. And you ensure that these new packages of information and disinformation are mixed, confuse people, and align themselves with the objectives of undemocratic actors in your own country, whatever the extremes, so that they will endorse them. And this is particularly damaging and toxic when you have foreign influence meeting national influence on people who want to cast doubts on democracy. And one of the first things you have to remember is that you have to denounce fraud. And one of the key elements that should trigger your critical thinking, your creative thinking, your civic thinking is that when these fraudulent rogue actors yell fraud, they actually want to doubt yourself, but you have to deflect the doubt on them and say, you are the fraud. So this is the empowering power for me of media and information literacy. And if you learn these lessons, if you apply them today to news that catch your attention, that doesn't sound normal, etc., you will find yourself remembering, oh, I recognize this format. Oh, I see this pattern. And let me warn you, we are in the phase where it's getting to intensify, and because we have 3 or 4 months before the European elections. And these patterns I've been telling you about, they are already present. And this is the strength of research. It shows that these patterns exist, and it allows you to anticipate them, to think forward.
Thank you very much, Divina. And you mentioned that people enjoy learning about the truth, about what's behind it, and learning to have a critical view. I just want to share. I've got 2 kids; they're 9 and 11 in Belgian school system. In their citizenship classes, one of the things that activities they're doing is they're actually deconstructing adverts to understand what is it they're trying to tell you, and is it true what they're telling you. So and they love that. They really enjoy that sort of, because it gives them the skills of critical thinking. So
Yeah.
thank you for
It's
sharing
playful. Yeah.
it's
It's playful
playful, as you say.
modeling. Playful modeling. And
Exactly.
you go a long way that way.
Thank you. So
Thank
thank
you
you
for
for
having
sharing
me.
those insights and giving us a sober reminder about the need to be vigilant about the digital environment during this key election period, before it and beyond it. Thank you all for watching this webcast. See you for the next episode, which is Monday, the 6th of May at noon. And do mark your calendar, because we will be joined by a special guest from the closing event of the European Year of Skills. I hope you've enjoyed our conversation today. Goodbye, and don't forget to share your community story on EPALE. Bye.